Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading, I wanted it to be all about what you deserve to be proud of yourself for. Because I feel like a lot of the time, we let our insecurities kind of run rampant, and even if we have a ton to be proud of and a ton to be confident about, sometimes it just takes one person saying one negative thing or one negative instance to really nuke our confidence. And today's reading, I want the purpose of this to be I want to remind you of who you are and what you deserve to be proud of yourself for. And I want you to walk away from this reading feeling like, I am proud of myself. You know what? I deserve to stand up a little higher, to be a little bit more confident. So that is the purpose of today's reading. So today I have 3 different piles for you to choose from. We have pile 1 with the black tourmaline and the tiger card, pile 2 with the labradorite and the tarantula card, and pile 3 with the, what is that called? I think it's hematite? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's hematite. Hematite and the beaver card. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. There will be timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the black tourmaline and the tiger card, then this is the reading for you. And I just want to start by saying that when I was getting out your cards, I just had this strong sense of anxiety and this kind of pit in my chest of just sadness. And I feel like the reason that Spirit wants to show you this reading today is I feel like you've really just been in this pit of self-deprecation and sadness and it just pure sadness. And I feel like a lot of it stems from I feel like you have so much to give and you've constantly been surrounded by people that only know how to take, or people that don't know how to properly love you back, or I feel like in life you've kind of been dealt a negative hand. And what I see here, and I'll get into the details, but what I see here is the kind of person that you got knocked down 7 times and you decided to get up 8 times. And I feel like each time you got up, you didn't let the bitterness and the pain transform you into a hateful person. I think you always tried to see the positive in things. You always tried to heal. You always wanted to be there for others. You always wanted to still have this loving energy, even though life has really put you through the ringer. And I feel like right now you're in one of those pits where you're feeling a lot of pain. I don't know exactly what you've gone through or what your current circumstances are, but I think you've just had this kind of negative low vibrational energy where you just feel heavy, you feel weighed down. And I can sense that even your physical energy, it doesn't feel as abundant. I feel like you've just been really tired. You just kind of want to stay stuck. You just kind of want to lay down and not get back up. And I want to say as an aside, I'm not here to diagnose. I'm not a psychiatrist. That's not my job. So take everything with a grain of salt. But what I will say is what I'm sensing sounds like a lot of symptoms of depression. And I personally am I was diagnosed with depression, so I understand. I kind of understand, but at the same time, I'm not a professional. So I would urge you, if it feels like it's getting a little too hard for you to deal with on your own, and if you feel like you don't have the proper support or resources to help lift yourself up, I would highly recommend seeking out a therapist. I would highly recommend seeking out a psychiatrist if you feel like you need to be diagnosed. But just putting that out there, because I'm not a professional, I'm never going to diagnose, but when I see these kind of signs, it makes me want to just say that. So I'm putting that out there right away. But I want to get into your cards a little bit, because I think your spirit guides are extremely proud of you. And they're cheering you on, and I feel like even their hearts are a little bit broken each time they see that your heart is broken. But at the same time, they want to show you how beautiful of a soul that you are and how much you give to the world, and how I feel like so many people, if they were put in your shoes and they had to go through what you've gone through, a lot of people would not make it. A lot of people would have given up a long time ago. A lot of people would have let the bitterness and the hate overcome them. A lot of people would have completely shut themselves out from the world or closed themselves off to love. And even despite everything that you've been through, you're still trying. And a lot of people would not be able to do that. And so I want to start off with the comfort card and the death card. I feel like these 2 cards talk about you, even in the spite of all all that was done wrong to you, or all that went wrong in your life, or all the things that have tried to push you down, you always found it within you to get up and to continue to push on and to make the changes necessary in your life to better yourself. I feel like a lot of people get stuck in negative feedback loops where they get knocked down and then they get back in that same situation where, and then it ends up happening to them again and they never learn. But with you, I feel like every time that there was some sort of catastrophe in your life, or there was some sort of situation that was just really handled wrong, or a relationship that fell apart, of course it was painful, of course it knocked you down, but it also made you decide, like, you know what? What lesson can I take from this? How can I change? How can I become better or smarter? Or how can I heal so that I don't encounter the same thing again? And I think you did all of that while giving yourself the necessary comfort that you needed and giving yourself the necessary grace that you needed to heal through this. I don't think that you were the kind of person where you were constantly beating yourself up on purpose. I mean, everybody has negative thoughts about themselves. Everybody has those thoughts that come by where you might think to yourself, oh, maybe you really are ugly, or maybe you really won't be able to make it, or maybe you really are unlovable. But I think when those thoughts came to you, you kind of shut them down. You realize, no, that's not the truth. That's the pain talking. That's my ego talking, trying to protect me. That's XYZ thing going on in my brain that's trying to stop me or hold me down or hold me back from getting hurt again. But instead of letting that control you, I think you overcame all of that, and you're still overcoming a lot of things. And you're doing so while still being able to give yourself comfort, giving comfort to other people. You never let it make you bitter. You never let it close you down. And I just want to say, this is an incredible level of strength that many people will never, ever understand. Yeah, people can be bodybuilders, they can be mentally resilient when it comes to enduring a lot of physical pain, but emotional pain, being able to endure and overcome and learn and grow from that, I think that is a skill that the majority of people will never be able to fully reach. Not because, there's something wrong with them that they can't, but a lot of people, they easily give into the pain. They let it morph them into a hardened version of themselves. They let it morph them into a bitter version of themselves. And I think Spirit just wants to hold up a mirror to you and say, look at how far you've come. Even in the face of everything that you've been through, look at how strong you still are. And I feel like you might be hearing this and you're like, well, I don't feel strong. And I just want to tell you, I can imagine a grown-ass bodybuilder man in your position being completely crippled under the weight of what you've gone through. Like, you might feel like, well, I'm still struggling, I'm still suffering. Yeah, but the fact that you're still willing to keep going and still willing to try to find a positive mindset, still trying to learn and grow and also be there for others and show up in a loving way for those around you, a lot of people would crumble. A lot of people can't do what you do. And so I really want you to stand up a little higher and say, healing is not one day you're suddenly perfectly healed and nothing ever bothers you again. Yeah, there's going to be days that you struggle. And maybe this period that you're in right now, you are still struggling and you are feeling that pain. But I want to tell you that the fact that you struggle does not define the kind of person that you are. If you were to struggle and give up and lay down forever and be like, I'm never going to move forward, I'm never going to learn, I'm never going to heal, that's one thing. But the fact that you're still going through it, still trying to learn, still trying to grow, still trying to heal, and still wanting more for yourself in the future, that shows a resilience in you that, yeah, people can have physical resilience, but a lot of people will never attain the kind of emotional resilience that you have. And that is something that I think Spirit wants you to pat yourself on the back for. And then I think another thing that you deserve to be proud of, you have the sweetness card clarified by the Ace of Swords. And to me, this shows that, it's kind of a reiteration of what I basically just said, but even in spite of everything that has happened to you, every pain, every moment being knocked down, every betrayal that you have ever gone through, there is still this level of love within you. With the sweetness card, it makes me think like you have always wanted to protect your inner child, even though there were people that harmed it. Or maybe people that were not there for you as a child, people that did not protect you as much. But you have this kind of love inside you where it's like, I'm never going to bury that inner child. I'm never going to suppress it. I'm never going to force it to be hidden away. Maybe in the past when you were younger, when you didn't have control over things, people did that to you. People tried to hide you away. People were mean to you or hateful to you or they hurt you. But the version of you now is like, I'm going to stand up for that little version of me that people didn't stand up for. And on top of that, I think you're even willing to still be loving and sweet with people around you. You're still willing to be open to others and vulnerable with others. And that takes so much strength. When I look at the Ace of Swords, this is about like, when we get down or when we're hurt, you're still willing to take action. You're still willing to reach out to others. You're still willing to be vulnerable and still willing to push forward. You're still willing to put one foot in front of the other, even though you have like 10 arrows coming out of you. And it's and not just taking one step in front of the other, but taking those steps and still having an open heart. And I feel like you might feel like, well, I haven't been able to do that recently, or I've been really knocked down. And I want to tell you, you have that resilience in you to keep going. And not just resilience to like get hardened and to keep moving forward like a tank, but to keep moving forward with an open heart and with an extended hand. And I feel like that's another thing that a lot of people can't do, is people will become really hardened and they'll have this hard outer shell where they can never open up, they can never be vulnerable. And for you, it's like, I feel like you've really tried to ask yourself, how can I heal? Even in these dark times, even when I'm really going through it, how can I still maintain that open heart? How can I maintain that inner child and that inner sweetness and love and not let it become hardened and buried? And it's difficult because sometimes it's out of our control when that shell comes up or when those hard boundaries come up. Sometimes we still have those moments where we bury those things and we don't want to be vulnerable. But I feel like you're the kind of person that you recognize when that's happening. You recognize like, oh man, it's been really hard for me to be vulnerable, or I can sense myself wanting to distance from these people that I know love me. And when you see that, instead of allowing yourself to just be swept away in the flow of that and to hide away forever, you're like, okay, how can I soften these walls? How can I allow myself to be vulnerable even in the face of this fear? And you are willing to take those actions because you understand how important that is, not just for yourself, but also to maintain relationships, to be there for others, and also to be able to show up in that sweet way that people love about you. I feel like you are just such a comforting, loving person with such a loving and kind energy, and you really want what's best for others around you. You want to uplift others, and people recognize that within you, and they're so drawn to you. And unfortunately, something that comes with that is, yes, it'll draw in a lot of great people and great connections, but there's also a lot of unhealed people or people that would seek to harm you that just want to take, and they recognize that sweetness and that beauty, and they just want to take it. But I think something that's great about you is you're still willing to offer that love and protection and uplifting energy to others, even despite everything that you've gone through. And I want to emphasize that many people in your place would not be able to do that. I think you deserve to be proud of the person that you are today, the amount of healing that you've been able to do, and the fact that you have not let it dictate who you are. You have not let that pain define who you are and how you go through life and how you love. I feel like you let your inner child and that soft sweetness within you define who you are and who you love and how you love. And that's amazing. Honestly, a lot of people would say that's impossible after being through everything that you've been through. And finally, with the Pain card and the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like all of these cards are kind of reiterations of the same thing, but in slightly different ways. Because when I look at the Pain card and the Seven of Pentacles, the Pain card makes me think of, like, for example, maybe what you're going through right now, where you feel like you're in this pit, or you feel like you're stuck, or you feel like I'm never going to climb out of this, or you feel like I just really don't want to get up today. It just feels like a low vibe energy coming from you because of like a deep hurt or maybe a betrayal. And I'm just imagining somebody who's just like, they're crying, but not sobbing with that kind of like, with that, it's not like how do I put this into words? It's like crying, but with nothing left to give, where it's like the tears are coming out, but there's no noise. You're not really crying out loud. You're just kind of still and you're just drained. And I feel like you're kind of in that position right now. But even despite that, with the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like you are so emotionally mature and you have learned so much over time that you know that even though we're in this pit, that it's not forever, and that you know exactly how to help comfort yourself throughout this, even though it might not seem like it right now. But when I look at the Seven of Pentacles, I see somebody that understands that there are just different seasons throughout life that we go through. There are times where we lose certain people, lose certain relationships. There are times where we don't really get what we were hoping for. There are times where we have less abundance. But even in those times, you know how to still nurture yourself. You know how to still move forward. Even though, like when I look at the Seven of Pentacles, I'm looking at this guy who's looking down at his crops, and it's like trying to watch the grass grow. You know it's going to take a long time, but it's like he's willing to give it the time that it needs. And maybe it hasn't rained in a long time and everything's starting to dry out, but he also knows everything happens for a reason. The rain will come when it's meant to. The crops will be ready when they're meant to. And I feel like for you, it's like you understand, this isn't forever. Yeah, these things were painful, but everything does happen for a reason. And I feel like you allow yourself the grace to feel that pain. A lot of people will try to distract themselves and drink and do drugs or party, anything to forget that they have that pain within them. But for you, I feel like the fact that you're able to sit in that pain, you're able to give yourself grace and allow yourself to feel that pain, that takes so much more strength than just going out and partying to distract yourself or going out and doing things that might harm you in order to distract yourself. The fact that you let yourself feel it, you give yourself grace to understand that these things take time, and remembering that everything happens for a reason, that takes so much mental resilience because you are doing the right thing that is best for you. But sometimes the right thing is the painful thing. Sitting there, feeling that hurt and knowing that you have to feel it because that's just how healing goes. That's painful. That's why we have so many people with addictions, is because instead of being able to face that head on, they're like, how can I just get away from this? How can I run? But you're not the kind of person that runs. You're the kind of person that understands. You're the kind of person that allows this to take the time that it needs. And you allow yourself to have what you need in order to heal and in order to grow into the kind of person that you would want to be. And so, Pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. I think Spirit just really wants to remind you of how emotionally intelligent and evolved that you are, and how much that you've been through and how much you've overcome. Because right now it feels like you're really going through a lot, but Spirit wants to remind you, you've overcome so much, you're going to overcome this. Maybe it doesn't feel like it's easy right now, but trust me, time heals all wounds. And so, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, Pile 2. If you chose the Labradorite, then this is the reading for you. And I just want to start by saying that the overarching message of your entire reading is Spirit just wants they just want to hype you the fuck up because you have unapologetically gone after what you are passionate about, been who you are, and followed the path that you know was constantly in your heart, that your heart wanted you to follow, even in spite of the fact that people might have rejected you for it. People might not have approved of it. People might have judged you for it. Even in spite of all that, and even in spite of the fears that you had within your heart of not being understood or possibly being rejected or people judging you for it, you still decided to follow what you knew was right for you. And I feel like this could go two different ways, so I'm just going to put this out there. This could be, for some of you, following a passion when it came to your career, deciding to do something that maybe people didn't necessarily understand. Maybe you're a creative, maybe you're an artist, or maybe you wanted to start your own business, but then there's people that's like, oh, but that's so risky, like you shouldn't do that. Or for others of you, this maybe has to do with your sexuality or your gender identity, where you always felt a certain way, but there's people around you that wouldn't accept it. There's people that might throw hate at you. There's people that might reject you, or even your own family might put you down for just being who you are. But even in spite of all this, even in spite of the possible rejection that you'd go through, you still decided to unapologetically be you, do what makes you happy, and to follow your heart, because I truly believe that God or the universe, whatever, makes us the way that we are for a reason. Puts things in our heart that we are meant to follow, things that we are meant to pursue. And there are a lot of people who have their own fears that might put you down because maybe they think it's what's best for you. It's like, hey, you can't go against the grain because you might get hurt or you might get rejected. And what they don't understand is there are people that are willing to take on those fears in order to follow what's really right for them. There are people that, even though rejection is scary or failing is scary, they're willing to do it because they know that it would be a betrayal to them to do anything less than follow their heart. And so what Spirit wants to do is just hype you up and really say, like, they are so proud of you. There are so many people that do not follow their dreams. There are so many people that are unable to be true to themselves because they're afraid of judgment, or they're afraid of not making it, or they're afraid of rejection. And because of that, you see there's so many unhappy people who they waste a lot of time in their life pursuing something that they're really not passionate about, or doing things just to impress others. And then at the end of their life, they end up having so many regrets about, man, I really wish I just didn't care as much so I could have done this thing that would have made me happy. But you are the kind of person that recognizes how important it is to follow your heart right now and to not waste a moment of your life. And that is something that you deserve to be incredibly proud of yourself for. So I want you to just sit in that for a moment and recognize how difficult this would be for so many people. So many people that would rather live their entire life not loving who they actually love, or following a job that actually just really drains them, when in fact they have this passion that they're like, well, you know what, once I turn 65, then I can retire and then I can follow that passion. And it's like, yeah, but then the best years of your life are gone. And it's like, even if you're older, even if you did have to go through a lot of your life not living the way that you wanted to live, or not pursuing what you wanted to pursue, the fact that you're making a decision right now to say, you know what, I don't care about what anybody else thinks, I'm gonna do this for me, that's amazing. It's truly, truly, honestly, the reason I got into doing these readings is because I love to encourage people to follow their heart. I love to walk away from a reading knowing that I encourage somebody to do something that they are proud of, or to do something that they love. And the fact that you're able to just do this on your own, or you've come to a point in your life where this is what you value, like, you're my people. Like, I am so, so proud of you for being able to do this. And Spirit is proud of you too. That's why they gave you this reading. This is why this is coming across your feed right now, is because you deserve to be hyped up for being able to do this, truly, from the bottom of my heart. So let's get into the details a little bit. When I look at the Passion card clarified by the Ten of Pentacles, it makes me think that no matter what the start of this path is for you, like let's say it's like a job, for instance. No matter how rocky the path is following your passion, no matter how tight money is, I think you are destined for abundance and success, even if you make the same amount of money as, like, I don't know, teachers in America. They don't make a ton of money, but it's enough to get by. But it's like, even if you only made that amount of money, the fact that you're doing what you're passionate about, the fact that you love what you do every day and you want to wake up to do that every day, that is priceless. That is what's going to make you feel like you have a level of abundance that some of the richest people in the world have. And I want to tell you, some of the richest people in the world, they will never feel the feeling that you have, the feeling of satisfaction of doing what you love and loving every single day doing it. Some of those people, they wake up every day and the only thing that they have to look forward to is like, how much of this substance can I consume? How many people can I surround myself with so that I can be distracted? What new thing can I jump on so that I can feel a little bit of an adrenaline rush? Like, they'll truly never know what it feels like to follow that passion. And I feel like for a long time, maybe you've been worried that, you won't have enough money and people might judge you for that if you decide to follow the path of an artist, for instance. And it's like, well, even if it wasn't a ton of money in the world, the level of abundance that you will get just from the feeling of love and passion of following your dreams, that's not something that you can put a price tag on. And that's something that will give you so much happiness and mental and physical abundance that so many people would not be able to buy. And so I feel like if this is also like a gender or a sexuality thing for you, it might start off that you have people that reject you, or people that you lose in your life because they don't accept you, or they don't understand, or they think it's weird. But I want to tell you that as life goes on, the universe will put people in your life and surround you with people that will love and accept you. Because like coming out, for instance, coming out will cut away the people that are not meant to be in your life. People will come and they will go. But once you're out, once you have that label of gay or trans or bi, people will see that and then they'll immediately decide, ooh, Or they'll decide, oh my God, that's my person. I want to be around them. They're out and they're proud and I want to be around them too. And over time, that will allow you to collect people that are actually meant to be in your life. That'll allow you to form a group of people that will love you for you. Not people that are going to leave because they're like, oh, you know what? I'm not really down with the whole gay thing. Like, you know, personally, this is coming from, I am a lesbian. I'm in a relationship with a woman. We've been together for 3 years. And the fact that I'm out immediately deters people that I wouldn't even want in my life anyways. Why would I want a bigot in my life? I don't want that. But thankfully, I have been, I've had a lot of people around me and in my family that accept me. I don't think I've had anybody that outright has been weird to me, but even if they had, like, good riddance. I don't need you in my life. And so I want to tell you, if you've been afraid that coming out or being who you really feel like you are, if you've been afraid that that's going to cause people to leave you, I want to say that I can't tell you that they're not. Okay? The hard truth is there are people that will never get over their preconceived notions. There will be people that will never understand. But as time goes on, the bad will be cut away and those spaces will be filled with amazing, amazing people. Amazing people that will love you for you, and you will be surrounded by so much abundance of love. Not just abundance of love because you've been able to find those people that love you for you, but also abundance of love for yourself because you're actually true to who you are. I can't imagine anything worse than being stuck in the closet and being surrounded by people that, are constantly homophobic and you just feel like you can't truly be yourself. You can't truly open up. You can't truly love who you want to love and just be who you are. I mean, it sounds like being trapped. I can't imagine anything worse. And so what I want to tell you is, if you're trying to start this journey of being more open about who you are, it might be bumpy in the beginning. I hope it's not. But eventually those bumps will smooth out and you will be surrounded by so much love, so much abundance. And it's all because you will be who you are meant to be. And so I want to also move on to the next two cards we have here are Rejection and the Four of Wands. Something that Spirit wants to show you to be proud of yourself for is even in the face of rejection, where, let's talk about the Four of Wands for a second. The Four of Wands literally shows like a celebration, a marriage. It's like a person standing next to another person. They're celebrating. It literally looks like a wedding. So if we're going off of the gay marriage thing, it's like even in the face of rejection, or maybe certain family members cut you out, or maybe certain friends drifted away or rejected you, even in the face of all that, you are able to celebrate finding a love that is really, honestly, truly meant for you, and a love that you can truly love unapologetically. Something that you can be so extremely happy about that, you would never have been able to find that love if it weren't for your ability to face those rejections head on. And yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's painful, but you never let it get the best of you. You never let it hide away who you truly are. And if we're talking about like the career thing of, following your dreams, yeah, there'll be people that truly would not have believed in you. There'll be people that would have put you down or judged you, but life cuts those people away because they're not meant for you. And I think in the end, you are going to find the kind of people that you're meant to be around, the kind of people that want to uplift you, that want to push you to be better. And you will reach that level of success that, those people in the beginning might be asking, hey, can you teach me how you did this? And you're going to be standing there like, you weren't even there for me in the beginning. You were the kind of person that didn't believe in me, and now you want my handouts? Now you want help from me? And so I want to tell you, just focus on doing you. Just focus on enjoying what you have, enjoying what you've accomplished, and enjoying the peace and the passion that comes from following what you love and following your heart. A lot of people will never understand that. A lot of people will judge, or they won't understand that. It won't be like, well, wouldn't you rather make $300,000 a year instead of $100,000? And you're like, well, the difference is I'm giving up my soul, I'm giving up my passion, I'm giving up my heart in order to make a few bucks. And what does that make me? Once I have the money, all I'm going to want to do is like have time to myself so I can actually pursue what I love. And I'm already doing that. So what I want to say is, be proud of who you are, be proud of what you've been able to pursue, and don't give so much mind to the haters. Don't give mind to the people that judge, because those people, they're going to have to reckon with it at the end of their life. They're going to have to reckon with their regrets. They're going to have to reckon with their unhappiness or the marriage they're unhappy in, or, XYZ thing. They have their own battles to fight. So when that comes across your feed, a hate comment, or when it's somebody in person that's just kind of like disregarding you, you know what? water off a duck's back. I know it's not easy, especially if it's something that is really as close to your heart as like who you love or what you love to do. It's hard to hear those hate comments, but at the end of the day, they have their opinion and you have yours, and yours is more important. And I think you being able to move through that and learn these things and stick by them, you deserve to be so proud of yourself for doing that. There are so many people in this world that would rather hide away forever because of their fear than be fully happy in who they are. And finally, with the fear card and the Queen of Swords reversed, I feel like this is saying, like, you still have your own fears. Those fears never truly go away. Fears of rejection, fears of judgment, fears of failing, fears of XYZ, you still deal with them. Even if maybe you have reached a certain level of abundance, there's still gonna be insecurities that come up at the end of the day. And with the Queen of Swords reversed, there's still gonna be people that don't understand you. There's gonna be moments where you question, you're like, am I doing the right thing? Should I just give up? Wouldn't it be easier if I was just like everybody else? If I just fit in with what society wants from me? But when those fears come up, when those thoughts of giving up come up, when those thoughts of maybe we should just hide away come up, you reject them. Over and over and over again, you choose you. Over and over again, you choose following your heart. And it's like getting knocked down 8 times and deciding to get up 9. And you are the kind of person that continues to push forward, continues to be true to yourself, even in the face of pain, even in the face of insecurity, even in the face of possibly losing loved ones. And what I want to say is I am so proud of you. And I want you to be proud of yourself. What you're doing right here, what you're able to do, I am incredibly proud of you for doing. This is what I'm always trying to advocate for people to do. And you're doing it on your own. So I want you to know I'm proud of you, Spirit is proud of you, and I hope that you can walk away from this reading feeling a little bit more proud of yourself. So pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3, last but certainly not least. If you chose the hematite, then this is the reading for you. And I think what the overarching message here is you deserve to be proud of the person that you are today. I think that you've went through a long journey of changing the things about yourself that you were not proud of becoming the kind of person that you feel like, I don't know if you have children, but the word that came to mind is like the version of yourself that your children deserve to be proud of. And you don't necessarily need to have children, but I get the sense that you really grew up. Even if maybe you were an adult, you had this kind of like ego death where you realized the version of yourself that you were not proud of. Maybe you were surrounded by a lot of abundance and people were like, I want to be just like them. And like, maybe you had all the cars and you had the house or you were doing really well in your career. But then you had this moment where you realized, you know what, yes, I have all this, but what I don't have is something of substance within myself that actually really matters. A purpose and drive that you can actually be proud of, like leaving a lasting impact on the world and caring about it, or being the version of yourself that you feel like your children would actually deserve. Like, I feel like that sentence for some reason is exactly what I'm trying to encapsulate here is you realize you wanted to be a better person and you went through the transformation necessary for that. And I feel like that also came with your faith journey. This is a very specific reading, so if this doesn't sound like you, it could be you chose the wrong pile. But I get the sense that it was also a faith journey, whatever religion or spirituality it is, doesn't matter. But you kind of came to this realization that there is something higher. There is a higher purpose in our life. And you weren't living it out. And I feel like you transformed yourself into the kind of person that is at peace. Your soul is at peace and happy and confident in the person that you are today. And so I want to get a little into the details here because I'm really seeing this story of like this linear path of events. And it starts off with the Hunger card and the 7 of Swords. When I see this, specifically the 7 of Swords, we often talk about the 7 of Swords being kind of like a thief or somebody that does trickery or mischief behind people's back. And with the Hunger card, I feel like, I don't know why I'm imagining a man that was like in finance and his job was to like be a loan shark, or like his job was to like get people to take out loans that he knew they couldn't pay off, or to purchase certain stocks that he knew that they weren't necessarily gonna make them money, but it was gonna make him money. And like, you don't need to be a man, but this is just what I'm picturing in my mind. And I'm picturing this man that was like, yeah, I just got another sale, and like didn't really care or realize how much that his making money was actually really, he was making money by negatively impacting people's lives. He was making money by stealing that money. And it was just this hunger, this insatiable hunger of how can I make more? How can I do more? How can I grow more? And it was at the cost of everything. Like, for some reason, I'm also picturing like those billionaires that are sitting on billions and billions of dollars while the people that work under them and do all the work for them are barely making ends meet, are barely making like minimum wage and can barely feed their families. And this billionaire is like, how can I cut costs even more? Like, I don't know, McDonald's, like how can we use how can we, I don't know, churn out even more cattle for these burgers that are, cheaper to produce, which ends up harming the animals, which makes the food worse, which, and then you're paying them worse. And it's like, I feel like that's the kind of person that you used to be. Maybe not on that insane of a scale, but it's like that kind of comparison of your life your life was kind of this unending cycle of how can I make more? How can I do more? Even if it was at the cost or the expense of those around you, or was taking advantage of other people. And then in the middle here, you have the faith card clarified by the King of Cups reversed. And this to me speaks of an ego death. When I look at the King of Cups reversed, it makes me think of an ego death. And if you don't know what ego death is, it's a lot of people, specifically men, kind of experience it while like tripping on psychedelics, but you don't need to have done psychedelics to do this. It could have been, I don't know, like you got into a car crash or some sort of life event that made you really take a bold look at your life and think, I'm not proud of the person that I am today, and I don't want to continue to live this way. And maybe it was like a moment where, you had a really spiritual experience and you realized there is more to life. There is a higher purpose for living. And it completely put your whole life on halt. Like, I don't know why I'm imagining like a car crash where all of a sudden you weren't able to work, you weren't able to make your money, and your life was completely put on pause because maybe you had to do months or years of physical therapy, rehabilitation, and you realize all that money doesn't really matter because who's at your bedside? Nobody. Who's actually wanting to give you support? Nobody. Who actually cares what happens to you? Nobody. And maybe it wasn't that extreme, but I think it made you really sit back and be like, wow, this is what the end of my life is going to look like. Surrounded by nothing but money. Surrounded by nothing that I can actually truly be proud of, because the number of zeros in your bank account is not going to comfort you at night. Maybe, yeah, it'll take care of you. It'll make sure that you have everything you need, but I think you realize there's a lot more substance to life that you are really missing out on. And specifically with the faith card coming out with this, I feel like this led you down a journey of self-realization. It could have specifically been a faith journey of some kind where you were really learning and getting in tune with, like, I don't know, it could have been a specific religion where you started surrounding yourself with, other people of that religion. Or it could have been a personal spiritual journey where you started seeing all these signs, synchronicities. You started delving deeper into, what actually matters in this life. What is my higher purpose while I'm here? What am I actually meant to accomplish? And what kind of learning is coming out of this experience? And then I feel like this was a very long period of your life. And I feel like with the Peace card and the Nine of Cups, I feel like you're finally, because of this transformation, because you realize what matters in life, you come to this place of peace and satisfaction. And when I look at the Nine of Cups, the thing about the Nine of Cups is it's not quite the Ten of Cups. It doesn't have everything. It doesn't have the most abundance, but it's content right where you're at right now. All the wishes are fulfilled. Maybe in the beginning you were this kind of person where it's like, how can I rake in the most amount of money? And now you kind of like, maybe you just work a quote unquote average job with an average salary, or maybe whatever. The money doesn't matter to you as much, is what I'm trying to say. But you're more satisfied and happy with than ever. Because when I look at the Seven of Swords from the beginning, it's all about how can I get more? How can I find that new thing? How can I attain even more money and success? And it's this constant chase, this constant hunger that's never sated. But the version of you now doesn't need a chase, doesn't have that constant hunger. You're completely satisfied with where you're at right now. And I think it could be because you ended up realizing that what you really wanted was a family or good friends or people around you that actually cared, and you were able to achieve that. Or maybe it was you decided you wanted to follow a passion of, helping others. How can you heal others? How can you help others? How can you, I don't know, maybe you did accumulate a shit ton of money and you're like, okay, how can I donate? How can I donate to what actually matters? And then seeing the effects of those donations, actually visiting the people that you're helping. And I feel like the version of you that you are right now is so at peace, so content, and so satisfied. And I think that's what the younger version of you is truly chasing. I think that's what the younger version of you was trying to attain by chasing all that money, And now you're realizing that money never would have filled that void. And what you have right now is way more important than anything money could have ever bought you. And so I think what Spirit just wants you to be really proud of is look at how far you've come. No matter what stressor is going on in life right now, look at how much you've changed, how much you've grown, and what you've attained. And never take for granted. I think that you're somebody that you are very grateful, but sometimes you just need to remember, never take for granted what you have right now. You never know when you might lose it. And I'm not saying you are going to lose it. I don't want to freak you out, but, you finally come to this point in life where you are perfectly at peace and satisfied, and that is, nobody got you to that point but you. Maybe your faith journey, maybe there were people along the way, but it was you who decided you wanted to make a change. And it was you who decided that you wanted to pursue what actually mattered to you. So you deserve to be proud of that. You deserve to be proud of who you are today. And so, Pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading, but that is all that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.